Did you know that many criminal convictions rest on the testimony of just one person? It might sound surprising, but in courtrooms across the country, the fate of an accused individual can be decided by a single voice. Imagine the weight of that responsibility, the power to change someone's life with just a few words. It's more common than you think. Every day, judges and juries are asked to make life-altering decisions based on the account of one witness. Sometimes there's no DNA, no fingerprints, no video, just a story told from the stand. We picture courtrooms filled with evidence, dramatic reveals, and stacks of documents, but the reality is often much simpler and more precarious. Sometimes it all comes down to a single voice echoing in a silent room. One person points a finger, one person swears to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. In that moment, their words carry enormous weight. The accused stands alone, sometimes with no proof they were elsewhere, no alibi, and no one to vouch for them. The silence can be deafening. In that moment, everything can change, sometimes forever, based on one person's word. A single accusation, a single recollection, can tip the scales of justice. The entire case and someone's freedom can hinge on credibility alone. Jurors must decide, do they believe this person? Is their story convincing enough to send someone to prison? It's a high stakes, he said, she said, with no physical evidence to tip the scales. The courtroom becomes a stage for memory, emotion, and persuasion. The law says a single credible witness can be enough to convict, but how do we judge credibility? What makes one person's word more trustworthy than another's? Human memory is fallible, and mistakes or lies can look just like the truth. Even honest people can misremember, and sometimes the pressure of the courtroom can make anyone falter. This is the tightrope our justice system walks every day, balancing the need to believe victims with the principle of innocent until proven guilty. It's a delicate balance, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Let's explore what happens when everything depends on a single story. Because in the end, the truth, or what we believe to be the truth, can rest on just one voice, echoing through the halls of justice. What is a one witness, no alibi case? It's a scenario that tests the very core of our justice system. A situation where everything hangs in the balance, and the outcome can change lives forever. In these cases, the prosecution's entire argument rests on the testimony of a single person. There's no backup, no supporting evidence, and the accused is left with nothing but their own word to counter the claim. The stakes are immense, because the accused can't prove they were somewhere else at the time of the alleged crime. There are no other witnesses to corroborate the story, no DNA evidence to point to the truth, no security footage to replay the events. The entire case boils down to one person's account versus another's denial. On the other side, the accused faces a daunting challenge. Maybe they were home alone, reading or watching TV. Or perhaps they were out for a late-night walk, lost in thought. But with no one to confirm their whereabouts, their story stands alone, unsupported. Their only defense is their own word, their own memory of where they were and what they did. It's a lonely position, knowing that your fate may rest on whether strangers believe you. In the courtroom, the witness takes the stand and tells their story, often with confidence and detail. The accused, in turn, stands up and denies the accusation, sometimes with desperation, sometimes with calm resolve. The jury sits in silence, listening to both sides. They must weigh the credibility of each person, searching for truth in the words, the body language, and the emotions on display. It's a heavy responsibility, one that can keep jurors awake at night. In these cases, it's not about fingerprints or surveillance footage, it's a contest of credibility, a battle of trust. The scales of justice tip back and forth, balanced on the smallest details. Our legal system demands proof beyond a reasonable doubt, but when the evidence is just one person's word against another's, that standard becomes a gray area. How do you measure doubt when there's so little to go on? Is it truly fair to convict someone based on a single accusation, or is it more dangerous to let a guilty person go free because there's no physical proof? For prosecutors, these cases can feel like the only way to seek justice for a victim who has no other voice. They must convince the jury that the witness is telling the truth, even without hard evidence. For the accused, it's a nightmare. Your future, your reputation, and your freedom all depend on whether others believe your story. The fear and anxiety can be overwhelming. The stakes couldn't be higher. A single verdict can mean years behind bars or a life forever changed by suspicion and doubt. This is the heart of the dilemma, a test of our faith in the justice system. and a reminder of how fragile the line between guilt and innocence can be. Imagine your life upended by a single accusation. One person's statement can set off a chain reaction: police, headlines, suspicion. Friends and neighbors may turn away, and the presumption of innocence often vanishes in public opinion. Detectives dig into your past, searching for anything that fits their theory. Every word you say is scrutinized, every mistake magnified. The stress is relentless, straining your health and relationships. In court, the witness points at you. You deny it, but with no alibi, your defense is fragile. The jury must decide, is there enough doubt? Even if acquitted, the damage lingers. Legal bills, a ruined reputation, and trust in the system shattered. A single uncorroborated story can break a life apart. The scars remain, long after the verdict. This is the reality for many caught in the justice system's crosshairs. The power of one story can change everything. Not every accusation is true. Sometimes a lie is told out of revenge, jealousy, or to deflect blame. The legal system can be weaponized, turning an innocent person into a target. False accusations can also come from psychological issues or a need for attention. In a one-witness, no alibi case, a lie can be devastating. There's no evidence to contradict it. The accused is left with only a denial, while the accuser's story grows stronger. In court, a convincing lie can look just like the truth and send an innocent person to prison. Let's take a closer look at real cases that reveal the complexity and gravity of our justice system. These stories show us both the hope and heartbreak that can come from a single testimony, and remind us that every case is more than just facts and evidence. It's about real people, real lives, and real consequences. In one case, a woman endured years of abuse behind closed doors. Her pain was invisible to the world, but it shaped every moment of her life. She lived in fear, unsure if anyone would ever believe her story or if she would ever find a way out. One night, after a particularly violent episode, she found the courage to call the police. Her voice trembled as she described what had happened, but she knew it was her only chance for safety and justice. At trial, it came down to her word against her partner's. There were no witnesses, no video, no physical evidence that could tell the whole story. Her partner denied everything, and he had no alibi to support his claims. The jury listened carefully, weighing every word. In the end, they believed her. Justice was served, and she was finally free from her abuser. But the process was long, painful, and left scars that would never fully heal. But not every story ends with justice. There's also the story of Ronald Cotton, a man whose life was changed forever by a single moment and a single witness. In 1984, Ronald Cotton was convicted of a crime he didn't commit. The only evidence against him was the unwavering testimony of Jennifer Thompson, who was certain he was her attacker. Cotton, like so many others, had no alibi to prove his innocence. He spent years behind bars, separated from his family and his future, while the real perpetrator remained free. It wasn't until DNA evidence came to light that Cotton's innocence was finally proven, and he was released. Jennifer Thompson wasn't lying. She truly believed she had identified the right man. But her memory, like all human memory, was fallible. She was wrong, and the consequences were devastating for both of them. After his release, Cotton and Thompson did something remarkable. They became friends, united by their shared experience, and began to advocate for reforms to prevent wrongful convictions and help others who had been failed by the system. Their story is a powerful reminder that even honest, confident witnesses can be mistaken. The justice system relies on people, and people are not perfect. The consequences of these mistakes are real. Lives destroyed, families torn apart, trust in the system broken, and justice denied for both the innocent and the victims. These cases remind us that the truth isn't always clear. The path to justice is often shrouded in doubt, uncertainty, and human error. One voice in a courtroom can bring justice or tragedy. The words spoken on the witness stand can change the course of a life forever. The stakes are always real, and the impact of a single story can last a lifetime, echoing through families and communities for generations. We must never forget the power and peril of a single story. Every testimony matters, and every decision in the courtroom can change a life. The flaws in our system can alter destinies, and the search for truth is never simple. We owe it to ourselves, and to each other, to remember these stories, and to strive for a justice system that is as fair and accurate as possible. One-witness cases rely on human memory, something far from perfect. Memory isn't a video recording. It's reconstructed each time we recall it. Stress, fear, and trauma can distort what we remember. Police lineups and subtle cues can further contaminate a witness's memory. A confident witness isn't always an accurate one, as the Ronald Cotton case proved. Even honest people can be tragically mistaken. Our justice system must treat memory with caution, always seeking corroboration. Wrongful convictions often start with tunnel vision. Investigators focus on one suspect and ignore evidence that doesn't fit. A single witness's confident testimony becomes the anchor. Prosecutors build a compelling story, even without other evidence. The defense with no alibi or physical proof must attack the witness's credibility, a risky move. Juries, wanting to do the right thing, may side with the accuser. Only years later, with new evidence, is the mistake revealed. By then, an innocent life is already shattered. If you're accused and have no alibi, your first move should be silence. Ask for a lawyer. Anything you say can be used against you, even innocent mistakes. Your lawyer will help you reconstruct your day, searching for digital traces or overlooked evidence. Be honest with your attorney. They're your best ally. Lean on your support system. This process is isolating and slow. Let your lawyer handle the legal fight while you focus on your well-being. The justice system is a marathon, not a sprint. Protect yourself and give yourself the best chance to clear your name. One witness, no alibi cases reveal the immense responsibility of our justice system, and of us all. We must support true victims but also protect the innocent from wrongful conviction. Reforms like better police lineups and post-conviction DNA testing are crucial. As jurors and citizens, we must weigh evidence carefully, knowing a confident witness isn't always right. The truth is often found in gray areas. Thank you for joining this exploration. Let's keep seeking truth together. Subscribe for more stories that shine a light on justice and its challenges.